Good afternoon, everyone. First time we've said that the entire meet. Welcome to Talking Horses, day 30 in Saratoga, and to each life, a little rain must fall, and we got a little bit of rain. Nothing severe. Seems to have tapered off. Might be a few more showers today. I'm Andy Serling. She is Acacia Clement, and Acacia was called in at the last moment, and we appreciate you filling in. So I'm going to do
no judgments on the second half of the card.
I'm going to do my very best to behave myself. It's always a question of whether or not I'm capable of actually behaving, but I'm going to try to be nice. We'll see if it's possible I can do it, but appreciate Acacia filling in at the very last minute in today's card. First post today will be approximately 150. I think 148 is the scheduled post, and we'll start the show at 1:30 today. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. We are, by the way, sloppy and off the turf, in case you hadn't noticed.
And the steeplechase race
Steeplechase has been postponed until, I believe, next Wednesday. We're going to run it, the Jonathan Shepherd, an important race. We're looking forward to running it next Wednesday. And the good news is of now, the weather report going through at least next Friday so far looks very, very good and very important for the big weekend coming up, of course. We've got a bonus, I believe, with Saratoga and Delaware. You want to opt in if you're playing at Delaware, betting 50 or more at both. $10 bonus on that. And the show today, we are on from 1:30 to 5 on FS2 and 5 to 6 on FS1. Race number 2, the first race in today's card. We'll take a look at Our Disaster, getting beaten at the wire by Helena's Fort, who was in the ballerina this weekend. I'm going to be a little bit of a wise guy and try to get Striker as Dial home. Now,
I'm with you.
I was kind of hoping the track would be dry. I don't know if it was the wet track, and maybe, listen, Our Disaster is probably going to win this race at a very short price. But that was Striker as Dial's first race in 2 months, and I don't want to give up on her quite yet, and I'm hoping she can stalk outside and this time hold on better in the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. Also, while Our Disaster ran very well, Helena's Fort, Forte came up the rail on the inside. She was one of multiple horses on that day after the rain that did exactly that. And I think she really kind of got that guard and trip. And Our Disaster was kind of more there where Striker Has Dial was wide chasing in the stretch. So I felt like it was worth giving her a little bit of another chance. I always have liked Striker Has Dial. She's a horse that I think these two kind of with the class that they have coming out of that trying the honorable miss.
Yeah, I just thought that Our Disaster, and maybe she should be 1 to 2 or 3 to 5. You know, I don't have any objection with that.
She ran very well last time.
She did, and she's good. I mean, listen, there's no, you look through her PPs, and she's been terrific. She's never run a bad race, and she's way the horse to beat in here. It would be foolish to say she isn't. But at a much better price, I'll bet Striker Has Dial, and I think she's going to be better than the 5 to 2. Patricia Ann, we'll go back to her race 2 races back on January 5th. Last time out, she just ran to a buzzsaw in Weigh the Risks, who ran a huge, huge race. I was wondering if they would take a shot and try the ballerina, since Ways and Means, unfortunately, had a fever and wasn't able to make the race. I don't think she's impossible in this race as an upsetter as well.
I totally agree. She ran very well in these 2 races, November and then in January. That was going 6, going 7 as well. She's going to stick with the 6 furlongs, cutting back a little bit, but she has tactical speed as well. I mean, nobody was beating Weigh the Risks last time, who was really impressive in that performance. But I agree. Patricia Ann is consistent. I thought Legadema off the layoff for Phil Bauer, a little bit interesting. I know that her races are not quite as quick.
That's the problem. Where's her good race?
I know. My main hope is that there'll be a little bit of a progression from 3 to 4. And she did face some good horses running against the likes of My Main Squeeze and Emery before that layoff.
But I looked up a stat, and it's a small one, 250-day plus layoffs in dirt sprints. Phil is 0 for 7 with 2 hitting the money, 2 hitting the board, and I think 2 of them were particularly short and didn't run very well. I get it, but I wish she had a race somewhere. We'll see what happens in race number 1, race number 3, or race number 2. Race number 3 is off the turf, and it's a bit of a guess-a-thon. And for me, Acacia, I didn't want to take the 9 on top. I like the 9 on the turf. and I would have bet on her on the turf, even or him on the turf, even considering Ron has obviously struggled in Saratoga. And I don't think he's impossible on the dirt, but I didn't want to put him on top.
He is the half-brother to El Grande O, who
yes,
obviously did win on the turf, but was a better dirt horse. And
but there's a lot of turf in the family.
There's a lot of turf altogether in the family. El Grande O is kind of a little bit of the outlier, and this one is by Mendelssohn. But that being said, El Grande O was also very good on a wet track. So I think that that's to his benefit as well. And he faced Bobrovsky Swiderski, who would come back to win on the turf in the Skidmore in his next start. But, I mean, that horse just wired the field, and this one was kind of chasing a little bit in there. And he absolutely could take a step forward, getting a little bit longer. But I was more interested on the turf. I agree.
Now, do we know who Brian is?
I don't.
I think we have to ask Jerry Crawford,
Yeah.
or
My
somebody
dad's
from
name is
Donegal,
Brian.
who Brian is, because obviously somebody who they miss.
Right.
And I'm assuming passed away. And
Yes.
we always like to know the stories on these.
Absolutely.
You've taken this one on top.
Yeah, this one by Authentic. The ones that the progeny of Authentic that I've seen, typically I prefer going a bit longer, so he gets to debut going a distance of ground. Now, I don't love the fact that
7 furlongs might be too short for this.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah. It's not an easy place to start, but yeah, he might want to go longer in the future.
But that would help him at 7 his first start.
Right. On the bottom side, 2 out of the 3 foals were winners, and they were more dirt horses. Actually, really isn't a lot of turf pedigree at all in the family. So thought I'd give this one a little bit of a shot, staying in for Todd, whose 2-year-olds have been firing left, right, and center.
Todd has been having a tremendous meet. There's no doubt about it. And I know I was kind of thinking he'll have no shot to keep up this meet. And I was completely wrong.
Got a lot of firepower.
He's having a very, very good meet. He's run a lot of good 2-year-olds. Mr. Brownstown's, this is not a story from Chad Brown. The dam was stakes placed on the dirt, and even the second dam is turf. I thought if he left this horse in a Medaglia d'Oro, maybe he'd be okay. We'll see what price he ends up going here. I think a logical horse is probably Chalky White as well. I don't know. I thought this horse was second by default. But to be fair, this horse was second last time to a Todd Pletcher horse who took a lot of money.
And
I
that
think
horse
might
was
be
a main
okay.
track only.
Yes.
Yeah, I think kind of
Tapping.
wanting to get some distance and things like that. I agree. Is making start number 4, so does have the experience. I felt like we've kind of seen the story a little bit thus far with that one, and maybe there could be some intriguing first-time starters, but as far as the dirt form is concerned, he kind of is the horse that does stand out.
Yeah, and Lexington Pike as well for Todd. I didn't love the workout, the 10 and 2
I didn't
fifths
either.
work.
No, I didn't either.
This horse worked at the 2-year-old sale, but Irad is riding this one. And any news if any of the riders that got disqualified got days yet?
I haven't heard.
Very curious,
I haven't
because if
heard.
Irad gets
There were,
days,
yeah, a few last week.
does he want to wait till next year, or does he want to take him now
know.
and let his brother catch up to him?
Yep. I
Maybe
don't
more
know.
satisfying he lets Jose catch up. Jose could catch him anyway. But
could.
I've loved the battle.
Couldn't
between
they
these
make
two
it
guys.
excitement-
They're both
exciting,
riding
yeah.
so well at this meet. Race number 4, a huge scratch with a number 1,
Yeah.
Acoustic Avenue, coming out of this race. And we'll take a look at Stewie, who managed to rate for probably one of my most annoying beats of the entire meeting when he beat me a nose at about 10-1 on Leo's Reward last time out. He rated, he won. The big question with him and the big question in this race is, what does he do if Barksdale doesn't get left?
Right.
Barksdale is a horse that can have gait
I
issues.
know.
He had him last time. If he breaks Barksdale, I don't think Stewie can be on top of him in this race. Maybe he can win rating again. I don't see it happening, but what happens if Barksdale gets left?
Also, the thing with Stewie is that he won that restricted New York bred first level allowance last time. And I know that there's a significant scratch in here, but these are a different type of horses. You know, the open company, the next level of competition that he's coming in here. I would like to see him win, though, because Jamie Begg is, one away from your bet, right? He needs 3 wins?
Well, I think if he wins 3 races, he gets a Taylor. I think that's what Patrick Lewis said. If he wins his 3rd race,
What is it? He
he's gonna
wins
have to get
more
those,
than 3 races? He
he's gonna
wins the bet with you?
He's gonna have to get those burlap sacks he's wearing out there tailored. So I think that's really the bet. And to those people that are mad that think I'm teasing Jamie, I am, but I happen to like and respect Jamie a great deal. And we'll actually talk about him a bit later on this card.
Yeah.
With horse in the last. And, it's easy to joke about it, too, because he's having an incredible meet. He's run 4 horses with 2 wins in 2 seconds. So his horses have run extremely
been
well.
spotted.
And, the fact that Stewie, and also, if Barksdale gets left in here,
I know.
he's going to find
Which
himself
is a
controlling
very
the race.
real chance, because he was off really slow last time, Barksdale. He really put himself up against it.
And they're kind of giving up on him, dropping him for 32. Having said that, if he breaks, he's too fast for these, and he's going to probably wire the field. But to be honest, I don't totally trust him, and I considered changing my picks from the 1 scratch and putting the 5 on top because I don't trust Barksdale as a heavy favorite.
I know. I thought he might just be better than what he faces in here, but I agree.
He is if he breaks.
It's the gate that really is his Achilles heel.
No, I agree. And, it's like you watch this race and hold your breath.
I know.
I mean, he's not a cinch if he breaks, but if he doesn't break, he ain't winning
got no
here,
chance.
especially with a horse in there. And, Lost in Rome, I think, is a little bit interesting here. I was talking to my friend Nick Tamero about him. You know, he was wide against the track 2 races back. Now, in fairness, the horse that won was also off the rail, but I thought he was wider, and I thought his race 2 back a little better than it looks. And last time out, he broke slowly, and then Kendrick, you know, he was just out of position because of where he broke,
really
and he got almost knocked over on the turn. I mean, Kendrick had to steady him severely around the 5/16 pole. So his last race is not as bad as it looks. My biggest problem with him, too, though, is he's 0 for 10 this year.
I was just going to say that. It's been such a long time for him.
I hope I'm wrong about Amundsen because he's been such a good performer, but doesn't it feel like Father Time maybe finally catching up to him
It does a bit. Now, Ilkay reclaims him, which I thought was a positive sign that he dips back in. And to be fair, I know it's been against some lesser company, but really his only glaringly bad race was the last one.
I agree.
And prior to that, even if he hadn't won, he'd run well. He'd won credibly. So I thought that was a reason to kind of put him in there again and see if he can run back to some of those good races. I mean, they're in there, but I get it. I certainly understand what you're saying about him.
Listen, I hated throwing him out in this race.
I know.
I've
He's such a cool
love
horse.
for him, right? We move on to race 5. I was really hoping that Tizio would stay in, and I know that Tizio has a lot of turf pedigree.
I know, but I thought being the Omaha Beach, he'd really like a wet track.
He's worked well on the dirt, this horse, so I thought he was dangerous and said the War of Will stays in for Miguel, and I took that to mean probably a negative sign because Will Power, who you have second, this horse has a ton of turf pedigree.
He does, but to be fair, I know that it was
a killer field today.
Yeah, I know that it was a bit of a question mark for Miguel leaving him in. He's been ready to run. They were excited to run him today, so it is a shame the race comes off. And when you look through the pedigree, a lot of the turf horses are by far stronger turf stallions, and certainly with the War of Will, you could go either way. There was one horse in the family that did win a couple times sprinting on the dirt, that one by Flatter. Several others. You have Dreaming of Kara in the family as well. There's horses by Temple City. You know, there's a lot of turf stallions in there. I love them too. So I think that it's a little bit of this horse is ready to run. Let's give him a chance, see if he can handle it. And he has trained fine on both turf and dirt coming in. But obviously, it is a big question.
It's not going to take a Herculean effort. I put the 2 Mike Makers first and second, but he seems to do well when he stays in and off the turf races, and I figured he'd leave one in. Thankfully, he left both of them in, and the truth is the Spear of the Law's early races on the dirt were against much better horses, and they might be good enough to win here, but to say I have a lot of confidence in this horse that you and I picked would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he has the foundation, Spirit of the Law. I've always thought physically he's built more like a turf horse than a dirt horse, but he has it run. He's a better turf horse, better than even on synthetic as well. But as you said, he has the foundation, and he has just been general running against better. As far as asking for a friend is concerned, you know, he was a huge price against the likes of Sand Devil first time out, and then he had a big layoff and comes back for Mike Maker, and immediately goes to the turf. But I did think it was interesting to give him maybe one more chance on the main track.
He's a practical joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that he has no turf pedigree. It's that his pedigree seems to lean more towards dirt. Don't disagree. We'll see what happens in race 5, the late pick 4, after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Acacia Clement and Andy Serling. I'm going to behave, I promise. Race number 6, off the turf. And I wanted to start by showing Ticket to Ride because her last race was very good, and we know that those are good horses she ran against, and I think that Sean was just unlucky with her, caught sort of behind horses, tried to get out here, but right away the Maker horse sort of closed the door on her, and she just gets completely, and then the other horse comes along, the eventual winner of the race, and she's like sort of repeatedly blind switched. There's an argument that she should have won this race, and if I had bet her, I would have been steaming. The problem is she's going to get bet because of how well she ran last time, and the first time she ran the dirt, she was a big price, and while she got steadied, she didn't do any running.
No.
So she may run better, she may win this race, but to me, she's the classic kind of horse that's going to be bet because of turf form, and you probably want to take a shot against her with somebody.
I know that she's worked fast. She has that 35-3 work on the dirt coming in here, but she's by Honest Mischief, and I really like his progeny sprinting on the grass, and I thought that she showed a huge step forward. I know it was in the Astoria, but Sassy CW wired the field, and she was just quicker than everybody, and she, to me, did not do any running from there. I took a little bit of a stab with the 2, Kara's Dream Chaser, who I know she did not do much running first time out, but I think that she actually met a pretty solid field for New York bred 2-year-olds, and that was on a muddy track that day too. There's plenty of pedigree for turf and dirt in the family, and she's one that I thought could potentially improve a bit, and I just thought looking at her first time out was in the paddock there, I thought she just needed a race.
I'm not knocking any picks in here. It should be noted the Ticket to Ride has been privately purchased
Yes.
since the last race and switched to Saffie Joseph, whatever that's worth, but is a private purchase and has been switched. I went to Linda's horse, Hot Currency. If I should have sent in the sales work, this horse worked what I thought was a pretty impressive 10 flat, the 2-year-old sale, and it seems like Linda's off the turf first time starting 2-year-olds up here often do very well.
She's been very sharp with entering main track
MTOs,
only.
you know?
Very, very sharp with that. I agree. It was 10 flat, looked strong, moved well. I didn't love the beginning of the work when she had to really be asked and she was switching her tail around as a result. It's usually a negative for me, but then she leveled nicely after that, which I appreciated. The dam was pretty precocious as well. She did win it too, and was a decent sprinter too.
And I've left Quinn's Silent Roar in Jamie Begg's horse for second because Jamie's horse have run so well. And the horse was entered as an MTO. And it's not really much pedigree. It's probably more dirt than turf.
It is.
It's just not very strong. Not that you need to probably be a killer to win this race. But I always felt like when Jamie worked for Mark Casse, they had a lot of success with their maidens going turf to dirt in these kind of situations.
That's a good
and I
point.
thought there was sort of a little intention with this horse going in here. So I'm going to use that horse as well. We both have the 7 in there somewhere, and that's Midtown Mischief for Mike Maker. I don't know. I just leave Mike's horses in when he leaves
I know.
them in.
This one is the half-sister as well to Midtown Lights, multiple stakes place, and she's a dirt horse and was precocious as well. So, yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 6 off the turf. Race number 7. Let's start race number 7 with Passing Game. This horse, to me, this is the race 2 back at Churchill. Last time out, caught a sloppy track, didn't run well. Now gets a sloppy track again, but Linda stays in.
But he did run well in slop in his debut.
I agree, and I think he's probably the horse to beat in here, but I don't love the fact the track came up wet for him, to be honest.
I think that's a good point. And they do come in, dropping in for the 50,000, which was the level at which she claimed him. So I don't take that as much of a negative either. Thought that he ran very well 2 starts back, and we'll see how he handles the wet track again. Maybe he was just facing a little bit better last time, but I also think he's better when he can be forward too and use that early positioning.
Yeah, no, I think he's got to be a little bit forward, but you know, the horse that's supposed to be forward here is the 1 Register. And listen, Katie Davis was aggressive in this race in sending him forward when he was a crazy overlay at 9-2 in here. Probably a horse that could have been favored. And I don't think she has any choice in the rail, and you know that she's done it before. I mean, this horse went, you know, the arguably, quote, too fast, unquote, but it was the right move. And I think you're going to see Katie come out firing on this horse today. It worked before. I think it can work again.
Yeah, I would certainly think so. And then last time faced Gilded Kraken, who was very much a dirt horse in that mile and an eighth try. I don't think he really wants to go quite that far, so he gets to turn back a bit. And he also drops in class. I mean, those were even on in and off the turf race last time. There were some decent horses in that field.
Yeah, I think in retrospect, I kind of wish that I had flip-flopped my picks and put the 1 on
That's
top
fair.
because of the wet track, though I thought it was mostly between them. You have taken Nota.
Yeah, this horse dropped to this level last time out, but it was off of a layoff. I know that you could say, okay, it's been a really long time between drinks for this one. in June of 2024 from his last win. But he's a horse that I thought really showed some life and an improvement last time. And like I said, off the bench, he's now second off the layoff for John Terranova.
He has some back races that are good enough. I think he's a little better going shorter. And last time out, I have a problem with that race because Bergen should have won. But like you said, it was coming off a long layoff. He's obviously not impossible in race number 7. Race number 8, we are off the turf, and this one did not hold together very well. We'll take a look at the number 1A's last race, and that is the MTO
Loco
Abarrio. I'm not trying to beat this horse.
No.
I thought he ran very well last time. He sort of dueled up front, set the race up for Otto Conqueror, and I just think I don't see any reason I'm supposed to try to beat him.
I agree. I thought this was a case of him having won the battle, lost the war type of performance. He ran so well to just get run down in the final stages by Otto the Conqueror in there. I thought he was really game. He has speed. He is a tried and true dirt horse, and he goes first out for Norm Cassie and Flying P.
Yeah, I'm not trying to beat him, though I am very much interested in the Claim by Joe Sharp. Now, Joe does not have great numbers. Actually, well, I'm sorry. I looked up first-time turf off the Claim, so it doesn't really apply here. I mean, this is a horse that I think Joe could get back to better races, and I think is a big
They're
threat
in there
to the
with
favorite.
Castle Island. I mean, once upon a time, he was steadily running races in the Beyer speed figures of the 80s. And I mean, he's quick as well, but he's quick kind of going longer. I feel like we're going to see the 1A in front and Castle Island kind of be forward as well. But he's a horse, I agree. Tabawatch was kind of one of the horses in that last race in there that he did face. So certainly one that could be intriguing getting back on track.
Yeah, I'm going to just use those two, as you say, and they will, of course, be the favorites. Keep in mind, the Morning Line and Local Abarrio is based on Touched Revenge, not on Local Abarrio, because he was part of an entry when he was entered.
Yeah,
Race number 9, as we close things out in here. What are you doing here? Oh, we're both on the same
guess
horse.
I agreed with you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this one was a huge price first time out. I thought really she just needed a race to bring it all together. She had debuted going 7 furlongs, not an easy thing to do. We will see this one get a little bit less ground, which I actually like for her. She was a bit forward, and it's a drop in class for one that really seemed like mentally and physically needed a race.
I also like the fact that she was close early. It's not that she was way out of there. The winner ran a stakes quality maiden effort, Delightful Circle for Phil Bauer.
She was
just an
very
incredibly impressive effort that day. And, you know, I looked through. I could use Darty Time, but nothing against Rudy. I don't love horses claimed away from Al Stall. We both have the horse in the mix, and we both have the 14. And I think the 14 is the horse to beat in this race.
She is.
Off the Claim for Rob Falcone.
She is. My main reason for not putting her on top is because there is going to be some other speed. Miss Impulsive
She just stopped
right to
last
her
time.
inside. Exactly. And she was not able to sustain it. So there could be a chance where we will see the horse that we liked in the 3 Bolts House get a little bit of a trip in there. But I think Laughing Lady is arguably so far the best horse in the field.
I agree. And Miss Impulsive, I don't know what to do. I know she'll take a lot of money because she's going from Katie to Irad Ortiz. I don't know what you could say Katie should have done last time that she didn't do.
She did
And this
everything
horse who
you're
ran
supposed
so
to do
well
with this
first
kind of
time out,
horse. I know.
This horse was awful last time.
I know.
And this horse
She
just
was.
packed it in around the 5/16 pole. And you want to blame Katie, go ahead. I don't see what she did wrong.
She did steady a little bit, but I don't think that it really took her out of contention or out of the way that she should have run that race.
Yeah, and listen, obviously Irad's a better rider. He's Irad Ortiz. He's a better rider than most people.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm not sure what Irad could have done on her last time to
No.
have made her run
Did
better.
what you're supposed to do
But
with
her
her.
first race obviously would make her the horse to beat. The question is, can she ever find that first
Yeah.
race again?
Yeah.
And she might, but I'm not thrilled with the prospect. Acacia, we really appreciate you filling in at late notice. You're also on tomorrow as well,
I'm
right?
on with you, yes, my
Excellent.
regular day tomorrow.
Tomorrow you have to do a better job.
Tomorrow I will have some really insightful thoughts.
You did a good job. I really appreciate it. Anyway, head over to Naira Bets, I kid, and use the promo code SPOT200, and we'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. $10 bonus if you bet 50 or more here in Delaware Park. Opt in for that. And we are on from 1:30 to 6 on FS2 until 5 o'clock, FS1 from 5 to 6. Check that out, and we'll see you at 1:30. Acacia, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Johnny, thank you as always. Johnny's pretending he doesn't care about the Mets anymore, but I know he's lying.
Wow.
We'll see you at 1:30. Frank Miramati's up next. The reprise, scratches and changes.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.